With our workstations shifting to 4K monitors and more people looking for inexpensive screens for the new PS5 or Xbox consoles, we're reviewing some budget offerings available.
Today we have the 32-inch 4K Samsung U32J590, a good brightness VA monitor, which we've used already for about 100 hours for footage playback, editing, and Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K 60Hz.
So this will work with PS5 and Xbox Series X, and how about 4K content and PC gaming?
Yeah, all of those. Though for PC gaming, action-adventure titles at 60Hz will be the best. Those looking to compete in online shooters like Cold War should be looking at a 1440p 144Hz display.
Aren't there 4K 144Hz displays though?
Yeah, they're expensive though, starting at $900 to $1,100 USD. 4K needs double the GPU power over 1440p, and 120Hz is double the GPU power over 60Hz again, so 4K 144Hz is over 4 times the power needed from your GPU over a basic 1440p 60Hz rate.
Even on the RTX 3090, you need to turn down details to high or medium to reach 4K 144Hz?
It really depends on the game, but likely medium to low, and newer AAA titles might not even get close.
So for online shooters, get a 1440p 144Hz instead.
Right. And today we'll review this 4K Samsung panel, and if you decide to snag this through our affiliate links below, it does help us out a bit here, so thanks for your support.
At Techspin, we deliver honest testing and opinions on tech, so you can decide quickly if it's right for you. And if you find a great deal on a 4K screen or need a review on one, leave your comments down below.
To keep up with our new videos and tech coverage, you should give us a quick follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Techspin Review. We also have companion posts on techspinreview.com.
So let's get to it.
The new FSP Hydro Pro G is reliable even in harsh environments. A compact, fully modular 80+ gold supply with dual ATX 8-pin, Eco Switch, 10-year warranty, and it's perfect for your next build. Check it out at the link below.
A quick summary. The 32-inch 4K 60Hz Samsung U32J590 is a great looking 10-bit monitor with highs and lows. It has FreeSync and super low 10 millisecond input lag, great for gaming, a sharp vivid picture at 270 candela, and 178-degree viewing angles and excellent upscaling. With no HDR support, motion blur is okay, and sRGB is pretty covered for photo and video work. But with no speakers, a wobbly stand, only 2 out of 3 inputs actually deliver 60Hz, and a consumer reported problematic AC adapter, well, if you need super low input lag, this might be a great choice, but otherwise, it's a mixed bag. Now I have some very fond memories of my first TV I owned, a Samsung, and while I have some brand loyalty personally, we're going to review this monitor objectively. The Samsung U32J590 comes in at roughly $350 to $420 USD, 370 British pounds, 500 Celine Dion's on Best Buy, around 520 Aussie bucks, and 10,900 NT here in Taiwan. This Samsung U32J590 is a 31.5-inch 3840 by 2160 16:9 4K VA panel at 60Hz. This 10-bit color panel has a brightness of 270 candela with 3001 contrast ratio and max 59 watts power consumption. Ending characters on the U32J590 vary by region. US has UQN, UK has UQU, and Taiwan has UQE, and so on. Measuring 73 centimeters wide by 54 high and 25 deep, it weighs in at 6.3 kilos, which is 17 pounds. Without stand, the monitor shrinks to 43 high by just 5.6 centimeters deep at 5.5 kgs or 12 pounds.
The matte finished VA panel was tested by Artings.com for a 99% sRGB color gamut with 178-degree viewing angles both horizontally and vertically, giving a standard gamma and small color shift as you move around. Pretty good. Blacks also look pretty good on this screen.
The monitor supports AMD FreeSync, and with a response time of 4 milliseconds gray to gray, we found a test online that quoted around a 10 millisecond time for input lag, which is really fast and great for gaming. But there's no speakers, only a simple headphone jack. Milliseconds are thousandths of a second. At 60Hz, every 16.7 milliseconds is another frame, so this means a mostly 0 frame delay, which is very good. Backlight bleed is a bit noticeable from all 4 corners, and we'll try to show it best we can on the camera. However, with an image, we didn't feel it was that noticeable for a non-OLED panel.
There's minor ghosting in fast action games, noticeable more in darker scenes. This monitor uses PWM to modulate brightness, and we saw reports that under 30 brightness there can be some noticeable flicker for those susceptible to seeing this.
Now personally, I can catch a projector color wheel only when turning my head quickly, and we tried this method, snapping back to the monitor, but couldn't see any flicker even down at 10 brightness. Now, usage will tell if this issue will present itself more over time, and with any updates, they will get added to the description as well as the techspinreview.com post. The bezel of the Samsung U32J590 measures 12mm wide, pixel to area is actually 14 at the sides and 15mm at the top. The bottom takes up 17 mils. There's no height adjust, swivel, or rotate. The stand itself is very sturdy and gives a tilt adjustment of -2 to 15 degrees, but boy, does this monitor wobble with a single pillar design. Just below center, there's a standard 100mm Vesa mounting spot, and the only control is a 4-way joystick on the right as you're using it, and we'll check out the menu in a bit. Apart from the wobble, overall build quality seems pretty good.
270 candela, or nits, same thing, is an okay brightness for a display of this size that's close to you. Other 4K monitors start at 250, but we just saw a 300 candela monitor, link up here for that video. It's decent brightness, but in a pretty bright room, it may seem a little dark. Again, no HDR support here.
In the box comes just an HDMI cable and AC adapter. On the back of the Samsung U32J590, there's HDMI 1, which is 1.4, and HDMI 2, which is 2.0, a DisplayPort 1.2, and a headphone jack. Having HDMI 1 being version 1.4 is a big issue. When we hook up monitors, we generally choose HDMI 1 as you tend to get all connectivity without issues on the first port. Why Samsung chose to hobble this port is beyond us, as you only get 4K at 30Hz with this legacy connection. The other HDMI and DP can do 60Hz.
The Samsung U32J590's 4-way joystick is the only control for this monitor. Not ideal. Pressing up or down brings up eye saver, brightness, and contrast. Left and right gets you volume control with mute, and straight down brings up the initial menu. Top is main menu, left is source, right is PIP, and down is power, which means turning off the monitor is a 3-step process.
Choosing the main menu, we have picture with Samsung Magic Bright. Settings are custom, standard, cinema, and dynamic contrast. Sliders for brightness, contrast, and sharpness are all followed by a color submenu with RGB sliders and color tone, cool, normal, warm, and custom. Gamma has modes 1, 2, and 3. HDMI black level has normal or low, which you can toggle, and this is grayed out when you're using DisplayPort. Eye saver mode off or on, game mode off, on, or always on, response time standard, faster or fastest, and picture size auto or wide. We didn't see screen adjustment become ungrayed in testing.
Picture-in-picture, or by picture, has options for size, position, sound source, source select, picture size, and contrast. Next is on-screen display with transparency off and on, 14 different languages, and display time has 5, 10, 20, or 200 seconds.
System has a self-diagnostic, and FreeSync has off, standard, or ultimate engine settings. Eco Saving Plus has off, auto, low, or high. Off Timer Plus has a setting in hour increments for 1 hour to 23 hours, and Eco Timer has 10-minute increments from 10 to 180 minutes or 3 hours. Why these are in further submenus, we don't know. There's a PC AV select for each input, a DisplayPort 1.1 version toggle, and source detection, either auto or manual. Key repeat by acceleration, 1 or 2 seconds, or none. Power LED can choose working or standby, and reset all. Finally, info tells you about your monitor and current signal source.
Please take a moment to like this video, and if you like what you see, then please do subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when I upload new content.
So the overall impressions, I mean, it's not bad, for sure.
It's got the screen color and brightness is pretty decent. The colors are, vibrant enough.
Yeah,
and,
but there's no HDR.
Yeah, that's true. Overall, I feel like the panel lives up to Samsung quality. The panel, the display itself, lives up to that quality that you kind of expect from Samsung. And personally, I have a soft spot for Samsung because, it was one of my very first TVs I got. But I think we're gonna be a little bit harsh on this.
Yeah, for starters, the HDMI 1 port only accepts 30 Hertz.
Yeah, because they're using HDMI 1.4 instead of 2.0 for both, which is really weird. Yeah, we actually had an issue where we connected up a laptop to the HDMI 1 and the laptop kicked down to 1080p 30 Hertz. And then finally connected after we unplugged it, replugged it in. But then we were able to bump it up to 60 Hertz and then we tried 4K 30 Hertz, with strangely no apparent issues after that. So that was kind of weird, but a first, experience with this monitor is maybe not the best.
Yeah, I mean, when we unboxed the monitor, we saw a couple different cables. They had the HDMI cable, they had the AC adapter, but there was no DP cable.
Yeah, there's no DisplayPort cable in the box, which is weird because I mean, like this is not a cheap monitor. It's $350 to $400 US, especially you're talking about a computer grade, gaming monitor. That's kind of what this is kind of the segment is targeted at. You'd expect a DisplayPort cable in the box, so that's a little cheap. I think,
I mean, but how are the reviews on this?
The panel reviews themselves are good. Like it's a good displaying panel. However, several consumer reports on Amazon said that they had trouble with the power connector on the back of the monitor. Like either it's not connecting properly or they had to wiggle it to connect. Just using a standard, 3-prong computer power supply cable would have remedied all this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like a manufacturing decision or whatever, but maybe not the easiest for the consumer.
Then moving on to the menu, it's definitely not one of the highlights of the monitor. Me personally, I think it looks a little bit outdated. It's definitely not my favorite, but what do you think?
It's kind of an ugly menu.
Yeah.
It looks like it came from a 1080p screen and they're just like, yep, that's good enough kind of thing. But I mean, in comparison to the other 4K monitors we have in studio, and they're nicely detailed menus and they look like current gen menus, this one looks, you're right, outdated.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that we had is the source is not a menu, it is a switch. So you have to wait, and I'm pressing the button now, and then I have to switch it again. And it does have an auto select for source, but it's kind of, if you had a menu there, either or, I guess, but I'm just used to menus now for selecting sources. So.
And even there's no power button as well. So if you want to go, you still have to go through the menu, make a couple clicks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just to turn the monitor off.
So you have to press it, select down, and then turn it off, and then it's off.
Yeah.
There's not, if I want to leave the desk, if I got to go to work or something, you got to, one button, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that they didn't include a single button for power is kind of weird. And of course, when we turn on the monitor, eventually it will come up here. And then, that's a nice, menu that shows you the features every single time. There's no way to get rid of it, so. Right.
But I mean, overall, I think the build quality is pretty good. The only complaint that we really had was the stand. I mean, as you can see, it's a little wobbly for sure.
Overall build quality, I mean, it's all assembled well, it's fitted together well, the bezel's nice, it looks great. They just said, I saw an online review where they said when they were doing harsh typing, I'm not too sure if they would hire chimpanzees to write Shakespeare or what, but they said it would start to wobble a little bit. In usage for me, I wrote this entire script with this monitor and I didn't see a wobble. So if you're gaming and you're bumping your desk, it's gonna wobble though.
Yeah.
So, overall though, the build quality is not bad apart from the wobble, it's all right.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the price is decent, so with everything considered, it's not bad.
It's just okay for the price. Yeah.
So the Samsung U32J590 has impressive color and brightness with sharp 4K resolution to a more affordable price range. It's suitable for 4K console gaming with PS5, Xbox Series X, and PS4 Pro, and we did PC gaming at 4K 60Hz with a bunch of Cyberpunk 2077, which looked amazing. With possibly best-in-class input lag and 99% sRGB coverage suitable for photo and video work, it does have wobble issues. One input is only 30 Hz, and there's no speakers. Overall build quality is pretty decent, but for $350 to $420, we feel this relies more on Samsung's brand name than the features it offers.
For graphic designers and content creators, the sRGB accuracy is great after calibration, making this a decent choice for budget 4K media creation. Viewing angles and contrast are decent also, with typical gamma and slight color shifts, though better than other VA panels we've tested.
Peak brightness is just okay, and if you're working in a bright office, the 270 for Candela is just average and actually may be a little dark for you. The low end for 4K monitors is generally 250, but we recommend 300 Candela panels or better, and not having HDR may be a consideration for you. And we didn't have a chance to play with the Vesa mounting, but it seems straightforward, and the positioning on the actual unit should mean that the portrait orientation should be doable.
Performing well with consoles is important, and there was no issue with PS4 Pro. And the color and details were great, and this should work well for next generation consoles also. For PC gaming, this is a decent choice and the experience was great, but those looking for 144Hz should be looking at a fast 1440p screen anyways.
Man, I really wanted to like this monitor too. I have a bit of a soft spot for Samsung, but considering this Samsung U32J590 is the most expensive out of available budget options in Taiwan, we're looking for excellence and innovation, not just the brand name to justify the price. Reviewing other 4K monitors and what they offer, the omission of a DisplayPort cable to get you up and running is disappointing. Speaking of inputs, Samsung, if you're going to hobble one HDMI so that it can only do 30 Hz, you need to mark that somehow near the input. We caught this in the tech spec, so we knew what to expect, but most consumers will just plug in a source and wonder why they're having trouble. Not cool. And without a USB port, updating firmware on this monitor isn't possible, so keep this in mind. Now the 4-way joystick with 1-button control we've seen on our older Asus VP28U 4K monitor, link up here, but since we were usually connected to PC, we didn't really turn off the unit with a power button. Furthermore, that monitor has a 15-second auto power off time, whereas this screen has a whopping 5-minute auto off, which is not controlled by the on-screen display time setting. Samsung, if you're going to not provide a power button, you need to have either an adjustable auto off time or at least much shorter auto off.
Finally, we're concerned with consumer reports of AC adapter connector issues on the Samsung U32J590. While this may have been easier for Samsung to produce, a standard 3-prong plug would remove all possibilities of problems. While most consumers likely won't experience this, at Techspin we're much more likely to, as we often move monitors when testing new gear.
Since the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC gaming are all moving towards 4K, more people are looking for a good cheap 4K monitor to jump to. While this Samsung U32J590 has a number of things gamers are looking for, including low input lag, overall, it's hard to recommend this hands down over other monitors like the Acer 4K we just tested, which has speakers, color space options, a clean startup, a nice menu, and HDR. However, for gaming, this might be what you need, and if you decide to grab this Samsung or start shopping for another 4K monitor, please use our affiliate links as it helps support us here with no extra cost to you.
And to keep up with our latest releases, don't forget to give us a quick follow on social media. We're at Techspin Review on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter too. Future updates on the Samsung U32J590 usage or issues we find over time will be added to our techspinreview.com post. And check that out for more episodes.
So what features are you looking for in a 4K monitor? Did you find a sweet deal that you want to share? Join the discussion down below. And we're interested to hear what new hardware you want to see reviewed. Let us know and we'll try and get to it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button or let us know how we can improve. And if you want to see more videos like this, then please do subscribe for new content and be sure to click that bell icon to get notified when we put up a new video. We do read and reply to most of the comments, so if you have a question or if we missed something, then please do tell us down below. We really appreciate you watching this far. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the next. Bye for now.